Alrighty, so let's talk about this little rumor slash speculation thingamajigger going on the interwebs of Transformers fans the last a week or so since we got these new listings for 2026 and 2027. So we have a listing for Rise of the Beast Scourge as a leader class. He's dropping next year, and people have been speculating that this Scourge is not going to be a reissue of the 2023 mold, but a brand new mold that is going to be way more accurate to the movie and not based off of some early concept art, which I would be game for. That would be fantastic. Now, this is bordering rumor slash speculation, so I'm not sure how true it's going to be, but it just seems like that's something that's swirling around in the community, and, it makes sense. Rise of the Beast wasn't some big hit for Hasbro and Paramount, but it still did do decent. And the sequel was greenlit, even though it's in some weird development purgatory right now. We're not getting any updates. They were supposed to be filming this year for a summer 2026 release. Last we heard from Lorenzo in September of 2024, but it seems like that's not happening. So I don't know what's going on. But with Rise of the Beast Scourge, he was a pretty popular character. A lot of fans loved him and his design and how he was portrayed in the movie. So it would make sense in terms of popularity and where this version of the character is in the fandom that he would be getting an update a couple years after his original figure that was frankly extremely inaccurate, down to the head design even. He just looked, I wouldn't say totally different from the movie design, but he looked pretty different. The head design was different, the legs, even the proportions of him was way different than what we got. It was based off of early concept art, so there was a lot of inaccuracies, and people were upset about that, and they were very vocal about it online. Rightfully so, because it didn't make for a good, accurate Studio Series Scourge figure. For a movie toy line that prides itself in movie accuracy, they did not do a good job at that. So the fact that this may be a redo on that figure, I'm really excited about, because for the main villain of Rise of the Beast and one of the more popular villains in Transformers mythos that we've gotten in the 2020s so far, it makes sense that we would get him as a new figure in Studio Series. Now, there is a possibility that we're all wrong about this online, and this Scourge figure is just a re-release of that original leader class mold. That very well could be the case, because at the same time, I don't really see Hasbro spending extra money and tooling to make a brand new mold off of a character that they just made a figure on not too long ago, and the movie itself, I mean, it did decent, but again, it wasn't a smash hit. It wasn't super popular. And since the movie's release cycle, I don't think we've gotten a new Studio Series Rise of the Beast figure since, I think, early 2024 maybe. So that's over a year and a half ago now, over 2 years ago by the time this Scourge figure releases. So I feel like he may just be a reissue, considering that figure is still hyped up among the fandom to get, because he's the only highly articulated, detailed Studio Series Scourge figure we have, and people love him as a villain. They think he's a badass. So maybe they're just going to re-release him to lower the aftermarket prices so people can get him a lot easier for more of a retail price. That would make sense, because Hasbro is pretty cheap in that sense a lot of times, in terms of instead of redoing figures, they just re-release the one that they already did, despite how outdated it is, just because it's higher on the aftermarket and Hasbro can capitalize off of that figure's value, and they'll make more money off of it because they're only charging retail and way less than whatever it's going for on eBay. So I feel like that's a scenario I could see happening next year. But at the same time, it really does feel 50-50 when you think about it, because he's really highly requested from the fandom to get a figure redone that's a lot more accurate. So I don't know, guys. It really could go either way. I could see it going either way, because Hasbro's cheap, but at the same time, they do like to listen to fans about certain feedback, and this seems like it's prime for the picking in terms of listening to fan feedback on making a more accurate version of basically a fan favorite villain in Transformers at this point from the movies. So I don't know. Maybe this, if it is a redo, it opens the doors for other redos like Mirage to be more accurate to his movie design. Maybe Nightbird or Battletrap. A lot of those characters and figures that were more so based off of their early concept art and that got a lot of changes within their final CG render in the movie. So that would be nice if that's the case, but if it's just a straight up reissue, do not be surprised, guys, because it's still going to sell out probably. Because I'm sure Hasbro's thinking about that aspect. And again, they want to save money. We've been reading about all these things about how they're cutting back on production and they're not doing certain things like they used to, and they're trying to save money and move into more of a gaming space as opposed to toys. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys think the new Leader Class Rise of the Beast Scourge figure for 2026 is going to be a re-release of the 2023 figure, or do you think it's going to be an all-new mold to please fans for a more accurate representation of his design in the movie? And yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye!